2 races to go under the sunshine here in Florida, and it is all still to play for. Rounds number 19 and 20 of this 20-race season, the 4th season of competition for the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Who can walk away with the final 2 race trophies of the season, and who will join the list of drivers to win championships under the ASRL banner? As always, here it's the ASRL Sports Car Championship on Turn 200. Tommy Cook and Matt Williamson alongside shortly. Let's look at these point standings. Let's study them carefully. We'll start with the hotly contested GT3 standings. The top 4 are eligible to take home the trophy here tonight. Brody Gunter looking for a 3rd consecutive championship, only 2 points ahead of Kevin Bonomi. Bonomi, one of, if not the favorite here on the Roval to take at least 1 victory, if not sweep. Johnny Alford entered last week as the points leader. He has fallen down significantly after Mount Panorama did not go his way. He's down by 11 points. And Josh Hagee, a bit of a surprise. He is now down 13 markers. But any one of these drivers realistically has a shot to win the title here tonight, and it's going to be very interesting. Now, for the GT4s, 57 points stands between Johnny Hamby and Alex Howland. There is a mathematical route for Alex Howland to get to the title tonight, but it will involve having a big GT4 field and Johnny Hamby finishing last in both races here tonight, and Alex Howland taking 2 victories, which he's yet to claim 1 this season. So all Johnny Hamby has to do basically is not fail to finish, and he will lock up his first championship here with the American Sim Racing League in the GT4 division. There are still good championship battles going on behind the championship eligible drivers here for both the GT3s and the GT4s, but all eyes will be on the 6 drivers that are gunning for the 2 titles here today. This is the Daytona Moto layout, not the Daytona you are used to. We'll note the differences here of the original Roval to the Moto layout of Daytona International Speedway when we return to the World Center of Racing. Coverage of the American Sim Racing League Season 4 finale is around the turn on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all, until he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the 2 women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
And now, our feature presentation.
Welcome into live coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship season finale here today at the Daytona International Speedway. It's the World Center of Racing like we've only seen it one time here on Turn 200. It's our second trip to Daytona. Moto layout, Matt Williamson. A little bit different here. We've seen it before with the Mission R Challenge, but tonight it's the GT3s and the GT4s with a lot on the line.
Yeah, there is certainly a lot on the line here tonight, and it is an interesting layout. The second half of the infield, that is why it's called the Moto course. Those corners are a little bit awkward and pretty slick as well. Not too much room to operate. So that part of the course, you're just going to have to be able to get through it. Not really going to be able to make any passes or anything, but just have to put yourself in a good position coming back out onto the big oval and then down into turn one and then the hairpin later on. Those are going to be the two big passing spots.
So an interesting development here for one of our championship contenders, Kevin Bonomi, is now, I believe, on the clock for his first lap. Should just barely make it back to the line in time to get a second lap if he needs it, but lagged out of the session here right as qualifying opened about 8 minutes ago. Just got back in. So Bonomi, as the rest of his championship adversaries, have clocked in times. And right now they are second, third, and looks like sixth, if I can count. Yes. So we'll see where Bonomi's first lap stacks up. He goes second quick. So that is his teammate Hunter Engrav, who is back in the field after missing Mount P last week. Starting to his inside. Engrav says that he is going to race to win tonight. And if he can also somehow help Kevin Bonomi by doing that, then he'll be happy. But he's not going to actively help Kevin Bonomi tonight, which is interesting. But, you know, that's fair. Engrav's here to win, like always. That is not any different. And he's done a lot of it here in ASRL this season. So, yes, the Moto layout tonight cuts about 0.3 of a mile off of the regular circuit here. Or actually, it cuts about half a mile off the regular circuit here, 3.56 miles. Normally around Daytona, the road course, 2.95 with 12 turns is what we are rocking here today. And the sun is coming up. I said in the intro that the sun is shining down. It will be towards the end of the event here tonight. But, yeah, the sun is still coming up around virtual Daytona. And that should make for some interesting track conditions as we'll start with the headlights on and a classic sunrise race finish under the Daytona sun here. Hello to everybody hanging out with us already. Mullet Music Productions is here. Good Leaf Archives here as always. Don Golden cheering on the Rutherford boys as usual. Bonomi has 6/100ths of a second to try and pick up the pole. Can he find it on his second lap? And he will. How about that? Kevin Bonomi, disaster averted with 4 seconds left in qualifying. He puts himself on the pole. Incredible stuff. So Bonomi, 2 points behind Brody Gunter heading into this race, will lead the field to the green. His teammate, Hunter Engrav, now will line up on the outside pole. Josh Heggie needs a swing for the fences here. He will start in third. With Brody Gunter, then the current points leader, will lose the lead as soon as the green flag drops. He lines up in fourth. JJ Wang and Nate Siefker on row number 3. It's Johnny Alford and Jarrell Williams on row 4. Joshua Rutherford and Rick Thompson on row 5. And then Casey Campbell and Steve Roman are going to have to start where they qualified back in 19th and 22nd. But they are on row number 6 technically for the class. Now to the GT4s, it is Matt Schlosser with the top time. He leads the field to green with Johnny Hamby, who will, as confirmed by Race Control, win the championship by taking the green flag here for this race. So he just needs to survive to cross the stripe here. Nick Batista, then last week's big winner, will line up on row number 2 next to Dan Miglin, who will line up in 4th in class. Kenny Stepp and Renee Garcia on the next row. It's James Watson and Nate Morris. Then Alex Halland, what would have been a championship hopeful here tonight, but Hamby has locked that up by virtue of the amount of cars we have here. He will have a GT3 lined up to his inside, and Corey Rutherford then will line up shotgun on the field here at Daytona Moto. Matt Williamson, what do we have here for the track conditions? What do we make of the night here tonight at Daytona?
Well, of course, sun is coming up, so track conditions right now going to be cool, 79 degrees, but also going to get much warmer as we continue on here. Got the dash race here for you. It'll be 20 laps, expecting about 20 minutes, expecting about 12 laps. They do get a faster pair. We're back to a 14X drive-through and a 19X disqualification. It had been 21 the last couple of weeks, but back to the 19X for a DQ. Drivers get a couple extra sets of tires, and we are going to be watching the GT3 Championship battle very, very closely here. But, man, the Moto section of the course is basically just one-laned. Pretty tricky corners as well, and if you make a mistake, there's nowhere to really catch yourself. You just kind of end up in the grass, so that's going to be a very important part of this race, is to keep your nose clean through that particular section.
So they added a pace lap, and I don't think they did it on purpose, and I don't know if they realized they did it. So we're going to do a full lap under caution here, and it's going to be very slow.
Well, everybody will get a good look at the course. We'll go ahead and just go to the cockpit of Kevin Bonomi here and let you take a slow lap around. Maybe talk about some of the features of this track while we're at it. This is the ever dangerous turn 1.
Absolutely, and this course is unchanged through the first few corners. We'll head up through turns 2 and 3, and through the International Horseshoe. And then on this jaunt to what would be turn 4, the dog leg, we are instead going to go the exact opposite direction of the dog leg, hang a right turn here across this little bridge. Not a literal bridge, just what bridges the International Horseshoe end of the track to the West Horseshoe end of the track. We'll go backwards up what is usually the transition straight to the oval and hang a left turn around the West Horseshoe. Basically bring you back the direction you were just going. So if somebody decides to, I don't know, skip the right-hand turn and just go straight on, they're going to be merging straight back into traffic.
Head-on collision, yeah.
And then a couple of really tight, like you said, tight, narrow turns here, slick pavement, and that will shoot you right back out onto the backstretch. And you need to get right back in line where you normally would be on the long trip around the speedway here, because you don't have very long until you need to start braking for the bus stop.
Yeah, the bus stop here is really deep. The last couple of times we've been to Robles with bus stops, they have been pretty shallow. This one is not. You really have to get down into a good optimal speed to really be able to take that well. And then you got to be careful coming out because there is a little dirt patch there that drivers often get their left hand or left side tires onto, and if you get them too dirty, you can get really loose coming back onto turn 3 oval.
And then it's business as usual from the bus stop onward. Oval turns 3 and 4, which are the 11th and 12th turns of this 12-turn circuit. None of that NASCAR chicane business. We go straight through to the tri-oval into the start-finish line. Pace truck should be hanging a left here. And Bonomi and Engrav. Engrav in search of another win. Bonomi in search of a title. And so are 3 of the 10 drivers behind him. Green flag is out. We're racing at Daytona. Bonomi underneath goes to the lead. Engrav to second. Heggie. Now J.J. Wang has passed Brody Gunter here. Gunter fighting back, though, into the International Horseshoe and out breaks J.J. So Gunter will hang on to his 4th starting spot. Meanwhile, Schlosser leading Hamby in the GT4s. Some passing there from 3rd on back as they are side by side. Oh, and now a crash in the GT4s. A couple are
That's Johnny Hamby
here. Hamby spins, takes Nate Morris with him as we're slowing down now for the big right-hander across the bridge.
Gunter and Heggie still nearly side by side here.
This would be Gunter taking that spot from Heggie.
He has the positioning to do it. Wow, that is awful close. Heggie going for a crossover.
And J.J. Wang behind them had a big slip up there. He won when Mission R was here last season. He has lost 2 positions now in the Ford GT. To the bus stop for the first time.
And the man that got around J.J. Wang is Johnny Alford. So Alford moving forward needs to have some clean races here and good finishes to be able to have a shot at the championship.
It was a huge swing in the points last week for Johnny Alford, who was the leader heading into Mount Panorama and then left 11 points back. 3rd out of the 4 contenders in the points. So Alford needs some misfortune to befall his championship adversaries here tonight after leading the majority of this season in the point standings. Steve Roman has to serve a pass-through penalty. He is down pit road. Schlosser leading the GT4s. Dan Miglin with a meatball flag out of that first lap problem. And Rick Thompson has gone for a spin out of turn number 1.
Thompson switched over to the GT3s a couple of weeks ago, running that new Mustang. Battle for top 5 here in the GT4s. This is Ken Eastep and Alex Howland going through the International. And Eastep able to get out in front to 5th.
We had Corey Rutherford come in here pre-race and point out something interesting to us. I knew there was a bonus for getting a 0X, 0 incident points at the end of each race. What I didn't realize is that Kevin Bonomi actually outpointed Brody Gunter last week despite finishing 2nd to him in both races. So that is how Bonomi got to just 2 points behind Brody Gunter heading into this race. A 0X and a win here would be huge. It would at least tie Gunter heading into the next race if Gunter ended up finishing 2nd. But Gunter's in 3rd right now and also losing some time here to Engrav.
Good battle we've been watching here between Watson and Garcia. That is for a podium position here in the GT4 class.
Oh, for the lead, the GT3s. Engrav takes it from his teammate. Caught the slipstream there through oval turns 3 and 4 and through the tri-oval and out breaks him into turn number 1. Engrav to the point.
And Engrav had a good run the last time around as well, but decided not to take it. I was thinking that he might not take it this time either, but he decides to go for it.
Yep, like he said, I'm here to win. If there was any doubts, they are now erased.
Brody Gunter's gotten a little bit away from Josh Heggie here, but Gunter wide through that left-hander. So Heggie pulls right back up.
Heggie and Alford both need to find ways past Bonomi and Gunter to have a shot here heading into the finale for the 40-minute feature. And the dash and the feature pay an equal amount of points. They're just differently timed races. See if Bonomi here into turn number 3 can answer in kind with a run of his own.
Might be a little bit too far back. I mean, he'll be able to get a run, but I don't know if he'll be able to get a run to make a pass here.
J.J. Wang might have a look here at 6th on Johnny Alford.
JJ actually going to go to the outside here. And that is such a difficult place to make a pass. You really almost have to force your opponent to try and outbreak you and make a little mistake and then go for a crossover is really the optimal move if you're stuck on the outside there into turn 1.
Gunter a little bit quicker than Bonomi last time around, but really not by much. Still 2 seconds from Gunter to catch Bonomi. And Engrav piped in the purple lap once again. That's the second lap in a row he's done that.
Howland and Estep still battling here. Howland around the outside, but again, kind of runs out of real estate a little bit. Estep able to hang on.
James Watson and Rene Garcia are somewhat close together here in the GT4s. As Alex Howland has gone for a spin. He was challenging Ken Estep for, or rather trying to hang on to 5th. So he's lost a couple of positions now.
Joe Williams starting to catch up to Joshua Rutherford. This is a battle for 8th.
And Jarrell will surrender his crown to Johnny Hamby tonight as the reigning GT4 champion. Jarrell, top 5 in the points in the GT3s in his first outing. We'll have to see if Black Ice Racing decide to switch back again next season. With Alex Howland being his teammate, running the GT4s, ran the GT3s last season. Oh, Steve Vroman has crashed, coming out of the infield onto the backstretch.
Jarrell is going to pull to the outside of Rutherford here. Oh, and he does outbreak Rutherford, but kind of goes wide through the corner. Oh, wow.
Ooh, boy, that was tight.
Certainly will. I mean, when you get to the infield of this course, just about every place is kind of tight around here.
Bonomi is losing time to Engrav, and Gunter is gaining on Bonomi.
Seifker dipped the tire off into the grass there around that left-hand turn. Oh, here goes JJ.
Dang.
JJ Wang, a bold move there up the inside. Alfred just kind of lets him go, went for the crossover. Wasn't able to make it work, but might still be in position to get this pass made back when we get back out onto the oval.
Williams and Rutherford still battling for 8th in the top class. Rutherford's gotten back past Jarrell into the bus stop as Corey Rutherford had a bit of an off track there and will have to serve a slowdown penalty. Bonomi and Engrav really have had the field covered off at these Rovals. Brady Gunter snuck in a win at the Charlotte Roval, track that he's driven in real life with the Legends. But for the most part, it's these top 2 to look for every time we come to a half oval, half road course.
Certainly very good at a Roval layout. Bonomi hasn't let Engrav get really away, but it hasn't really been close either. Oh, looks like Nate Seifker may have had a problem. and is going to tow back to the pits, unfortunately.
And Andrell Williams is off track around that same vicinity as well. Siefker, from the sounds of it, he's racing more two-handed, but still a couple turns here require some one-handedness. So still driving ailing, but it sounds like it's improving.
Something must have happened there because he didn't make like a huge mistake. He was still going to make the tight turn to the left. He was kind of in the middle of making the corner and then just decided to turn right and come to a stop and get off the racetrack. So hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah.
Looked like it was just a decision to have to hang it up here tonight for something that may have happened in real life there.
Well, just as quickly as Gunter, like you pointed out, was closing in on Bonomi. Bonomi has spaced back out over Gunter. Unfortunately, Bonomi is kind of losing out to Hunter Engrav right now. But plenty of space back to Gunter, who is has his hands full right now with Josh Hagee all of a sudden.
Yeah, and still, I mean, close to half the race left here, so you can't relax and get into too much of a lollygag rhythm. You got guys that are still trying to work hard here and still have plenty of time to do it.
Do we have any lollygaggers here, you think?
I would not imagine.
I would be a lollygagger if I was racing here, but I'm not.
I certainly would too.
Thankfully.
Any road course I go to, I'm lollygagging 100%.
Nick Batista and Rene Garcia, we're pretty close together.
Whoa, they're still close.
Yeah. They had to let Rick Thompson go through there in the GT3. That has bunched them up.
Here comes James Watson into the fight as well.
Yes. That is second, third, and fourth, all trailing Matt Schlosser by about 3 seconds. Batista with a very popular first career victory last week at Mount Panorama. Rene Garcia, who had the dash race from hell, made up for it quite nicely with a victory in the feature, as that's Rick Thompson again off the track, but he will merge back on. Oh boy, big shot there from Garcia up to Batista, and Garcia gets the worst of that.
Yeah, and Garcia's going to lose a lot of momentum. You can't lose momentum in the GT4 class because it takes a while to get it back, and coming back out onto the oval, that's exactly what happened to Rene there.
It will lose a ton of time here on this section of the oval. Just as quickly as Josh Hagee got to within half a second of Brody Gunter, Gunter is spaced back out over him to the tune of about a second and a half. So.
Yeah, the intervals between all the top four have just kind of been bouncing back and forth a little bit. As Bonomi's back within just about a second of Hunter Engrav as well. It was about 1.4 seconds a couple laps ago.
So Bonomi starting to push the issue once again. So is Brody Gunter. There's the report from Nate Siefker in the chat. And, yep, that's best not to push through it if you don't have to. We're just happy we can get you a little airtime tonight.
There goes Hunter Engrav through on some GT4 traffic. Whew.
Engrav ran a 137.5 last time by, and Bonomi and Gunter were both in the 137.8.
Yep, Engrav, the fastest driver on the track that last time around.
Certainly. Well, things are tightening back up here for this GT4 battle. For second, Batista has James Watson within about half a second. there's the sun starting to shine a little bit brighter as we go along here.
Almost felt like a 24 hours type of race. Just the latter half.
I'm just positive that most of these drivers are just happy that the track is dry. And Graham continuing to space out up front. So we got 5 minutes left to go here in the dash race. And it's weird. I had incident encounters last week for the first time this season. And now they're gone. I don't have them anymore.
But we are truly going to have to wait until the very end of the night for the points to be calculated by the admins. We can try and give you an idea, but it's nearly impossible without knowing the bonus points for the incident limits, or for the incidences, I should say.
We can make an assumption that Gunter and Bonomi have not been off track, but that would be just that. It would be an assumption. We haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened, and some of these track limits can be a little finicky.
Watson looking to make a move here on Batista. Batista tries and cover it off there on the bottom through start finish. Watson might try and outbrake Batista down here into turn one.
Batista sneaks ahead. Watson a little wide.
Yeah,
Nicely
Watson
done.
got pretty loose there. The outside of turn one is almost kind of off camber a little bit. It's an awkward position to be on the outside there where Watson was, so no surprise that Batista is able to hang on.
I know I kind of say this a lot. This is kind of becoming a meme of mine, but this is one of my favorite tracks. Maybe not the Moto layout necessarily, but Daytona Road Course is great. It's highly rated, and it should be.
It always delivers fantastic races for us, no matter what car we bring.
Even in real life, I think since we got rid of Daytona Speed Weeks in NASCAR, we should have round number 2 of the season be on the Daytona Road Course and just keep everybody in Florida for an extra week.
Oh, well, they did that once.
They did do that once. I think they should do it permanently, preferably without a global pandemic as well. Johnny Alford just had an off track, went off into the grass, but he has kept his 6th position. Things are going to need to turn around in a hurry here for Alford to have any chance at a title. But unfortunately for him, the top 3 are spaced it out.
Still the closest drivers on the racetrack is Batista, Watson, and Garcia. Still 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here in the GT4 class. Everybody else pretty spread out.
I think we're going to get 13 laps into here. This is the 2 to go.
Guess we got to show a little love to Matt Schlosser here as well. Really haven't talked about him all race because he's been out here all by his lonesome, just putting in laps, and nothing crazy's happened to him.
Not yet. But certainly, yes. He's had a quiet race. He's got 5 seconds back to Batista and Watson and Garcia.
Tommy, Kevin Bonomi.
Yeah. He's caught up.
Starting to catch up to Hunter Engrav here. Now, Bonomi's going to have to get through a little bit of traffic, and it's in a kind of awkward spot here on the racetrack. That's Ken Estep, but does get around fairly quickly. Loses a little bit of time, maybe a 10th or 2.
It's all time that Engrav lost as well, trying to pick up, trying to pick up some track position on E-Step. It's allowed Gunter to close in as well because Gunter had a little bit more favorable circumstances there, catching him down the backstretch. So they're both just outside of a second of one another here. Bonomi to Engrav and Gunter to Bonomi. Coming to the white flag here in the dash race.
And they're going to be coming up on this battle between Nick Batista and James Watson yet again, close together.
Second and a half for Bonomi to try and make up. Gunter almost to inside of a second here. He's closed up. Championship on the line and an invert impending here. It's going to make things very interesting as we barrel into turn number one for the feature race. Bonomi again seems to be a lot stronger here in the Moto section of the Moto layout. He's caught Engrav once again, just to a couple car lengths here.
He's going to have to make up a lot of ground here in the bus stop, though. It's really difficult to make a pass happen before you get to start-finish on the oval. He's going to have a great run here.
And he does.
And he
closes
does.
By a couple car lengths here. Will it be enough, though? The draft is going to play a part. Is it going to play enough? Or is Engrav just going to give him the spot? Bonomi is through. Bonomi takes the win. Engrav gives up the bottom. Bonomi picks up the slipstream and takes the win at the line. Gunter in third. That was Nick Batista back in fourth. So James Watson's gotten up to second. Garcia's in third. They have a whole lap to complete here still, those two. As does Matt Schlosser for the GT4 win.
Whoa, really close there between Watson and Garcia.
These two had a dust-up at the Charlotte Roval. Oh, and some contact there as well. The draft favors the GT4s a lot less. So Garcia really needs to be close here out of the bus stop to have a shot. He backs up his entry.
Oh my
Great
goodness,
exit.
He's got it.
Huge run. What a move. Down to block there on the bottom. Garcia to P2. Ahead of them, it's Matt Schlosser headed to the line, and he will cross to take the win in the GT4s, his second year with ASRL. To the line
side
for
by
second.
side.
Watson's got the run. Boy, that is.
It's James Watson.
It's Watson, but not by much. Holy cow. All right, that'll send us into the mid-roll break here. We'll talk to Matt Schlosser and Kevin Bonomi when we return to coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship season finale from Daytona Moto here on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Turn 200's coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship season finale from Daytona Moto is presented by Eminent Signs and Graphics, Mullet Music Productions, CJR Graphics, and the American Sim Racing League, celebrating 25 years of sim racing excellence. Alrighty, folks, welcome back from the mid-race break. We are live with your winner of the GT4 Class Dash race. That is Mr. Matt Schlosser. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Well, we are at a familiar place for a lot of the drivers, but not probably a very familiar layout for many of them as well. How are you feeling coming into the Moto layout here tonight, and seemed to fare pretty well for you?
Yeah, it took some practice for sure. I actually remember a little bit of this layout from I think it was Forza Motorsport back in the day. It was in that one. And luckily I had that somewhere in the back of my brain and it all kind of came back a little bit. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, the infield is very technical. There's a lot of cone markers that are a little bit hard to get a breaking point, but yeah, it's a fun layout for sure. And yeah, it was a clean race for me. It looked like maybe a couple of the guys got together out of the first horseshoe on lap one, and I kind of had a gap and was able to just manage it. But yeah, it was a fun race for sure.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. The battle behind you was extremely intense, which kind of allowed you to just kind of go do your thing and come out with the win. But yeah, who would you like to thank here tonight from the top step in the dash race?
Yeah, shout out as always to Corey and the admins who put the league on, and shout out to you guys at Turn 200, and also shout out to Dan Miglin for his podium last night in Venom. I know that's a different series, but I wanted to say that he had a great run, and yeah, it was good. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, certainly was great to see him up there. Seems like he really loves the short tracks and the trucks. So happy to see both of you in there and see what you can do for the rest of the season on Tuesdays. But you got one more race left here. You got the invert coming up. How you feeling?
It's going to be tricky. It's hard coming from the back. I'm sure drafting is going to be a big thing. That's the one thing I did not get a chance to do is practice in the drafts. So I might completely blow turn one on the second lap, not knowing where to stop. But it'll be fun, and I think it'll be, as you said, it was exciting behind me. So I'm sure I'll be racing hard with those guys, and it should be a good time for sure.
Well, we're counting on it, and looking forward to seeing what's in store. Good luck here.
All right, thank you.
So second win for Matt Schlosser in ASRL. He finished the race last night without a front clip, by the way, so congrats to him on that. And congrats to Kevin Bonomi here on his 6th career ASRL Sports Car Championship victory, and one that came right there at the end of it. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, things really developed there on the final lap for you.
Oh, yeah. It's like the entire race, the nerves are high, and that last lap, I don't know what happened. I just got a good run, and I finally managed to beat that Merc down the straightaway. So,
it's nice when it works out like that. It seemed like you, and maybe this was just the last few laps, but you seemed very strong in the new section of this track to most drivers, the Moto section, if you will. Is that where you feel like your strong suit is, or really, since it's the Roval, is this entire layout your strong suit?
I feel like everyone's going to be pretty strong around the traditional Daytona sections. So that's like turn 1, horseshoe, all that stuff. But the Moto section, not many people are familiar with, and neither am I, but that's where I feel like my driving style and braking style in particular has a little bit of an advantage.
Well, I think right now things are obviously going to be pretty tight here. For the championship. Are you going to run this race any differently than you would run a normal race, or are you just full speed ahead trying to pick your way through the field here for the invert?
Patience. That's all I'm having right now.
Well, patience is a good thing to have, that's for sure, but you also got a win in your back pocket, so that's also a nice thing to have here. Shout-outs for you tonight.
My teammate, that's been really helping me here. My family, my brothers who are hopefully watching, and my good friend Logan. Hopefully he's watching too.
Alrighty, partner. Best of luck to you, and hopefully one way or another we're talking to you again at the end of this one.
All right, thanks.
So I'm not sure if this happened in the race or after the race, but I don't believe anybody finished that race with a 0x in the entire field. So those bonus points are off the table. I'm showing a 1x for Bonomi and a 12x for Brody Gunter. So he had quite a few off tracks there and maybe some contact. But again, that could have happened on the cool down lap. It wouldn't count towards the bonus. So I can't say that with 100% certainty. But either way, I would say for sure that Brody Gunter is not getting any bonus points here. At best, those two are tied right now. And at worst, it is a 1-point lead for Bonomi heading into the final race of the season. Matt Williamson, I think we've narrowed our field down from 4 to 2. How are we feeling here in the sunshine at Daytona?
Man, it feels like this thing can really go either way and in every which way, especially we get the invert here. Those two are both going to have to work their way through lots of traffic. Bonomi, of course, going to be starting behind Gunter, so this one could get very, very interesting. Of course, you have the pit stops here as well. A lot of time can be made or lost on pit stops. So you add that into the mix here for the feature race. You just have to be buttoned up. You heard Kevin talk about being patient. You have to be patient, but you also have to know when to go as well. And you can't make any mistakes on pit road or on the racetrack.
Well, in case you missed it at the top of the show, the GT4 Championship is all buttoned up by Johnny Hamby taking the green flag in the dash race. And that's good news for him because he did not have a great dash race. But this is how they'll line up here for the full field invert for the GT3s and the GT4s. It will be Casey Campbell leading the field to green. Then I believe Nate Siefker and Steve Roman are both done for the night. So in theory, that will give Rick Thompson the outside pole. Jarrell Williams and Joshua Rutherford then on row 2. Johnny Alford and J.J. Wang on the 3rd row. Then row number 4 will be Josh Heggie and Brody Gunter. Hunter Engrav and Kevin Bonomi then on the back row. And GT3s will start at the front of the field no matter what here. So then for the GT4s, it'll be Dan Miglin now leading the field to the green, coming off of his big podium last night with the Venom Truck Series. Nate Morris will line up to his outside. Then Johnny Hamby going to start 3rd in class. That may be bad news for everybody else. Corey Rutherford will line up to his outside. Alex Halland and Ken Estep on the next row. Nick Batista, Rene Garcia, James Watson, and Matt Schlosser then will be on the back row here. Matt Williamson, how much of the track conditions changed, and what are we looking at for fuel strategy?
Looking at track temperature, it hasn't increased a whole lot. Of course, the sun didn't come up too long ago here, so I mean, it still has plenty of time to get warmer as this race rolls along. There's no doubt about it. So that will definitely be something that the drivers are going to want to keep their eyes on as they get going here. As far as fuel goes, we've said it many times throughout the season. I mean, these drivers can pretty much go almost as long as they want to on a tank of fuel. Of course, it's a little bit different here since it is a roval. When you have the big oval, they're going to use a little bit more fuel than they typically would in a race. We're thinking about 18 to 20 laps is the fuel capacity here, expecting about 24, 25 laps to be completed here in the feature race. Still one faster pair, 2 sets of tires, 14X drive-through, and a 19X is a disqualification. And the championship is on the line.
4 drivers still mathematically eligible, but we've basically narrowed it down without something disastrous happening to Bonomi and Gunter, who are at the tail end of the field for the GT3s. Casey Campbell elects to start from the pits, so it is Jarrell Williams and Rick Thompson on the front row here. And we're back underway. Here's J.J. Wang making it 3 wide right off the rip into turn number 1. And that's to brake hard not to pile into the back of Williams. Jarrell goes through to the lead. J.J. through to second.
J.J. made a little bit of initial contact there with Joshua Rutherford, but nothing too crazy. Rutherford, oh, here goes Brody Gunter. Huge dive down to the bottom through the International. Bonomi trying to follow him through.
Bonomi will follow him through. Gunter to 4th. Bonomi, though, still stuck side by side here. As for the lead for the GT4s, it is Hamby and Miglin side by side heading into the Moto.
And 2 drivers in front of Hamby side by side. That's Hunter Engrav and Joshua Heggie. Heggie far back in this pack. In contact with Engrav there. Heggie, of course, one of the championship drivers coming into tonight, but it seems like that's all but over.
Huge gains on the opening lap here for Gunter and for Bonomi, as they are nearly up to the front of the field here. Oh, Estep and Garcia have gone for a spin in the GT4s.
JJ reeling in Jarrell Williams. 2 Fords not of the same make.
Oh, JJ's
got
huge
a
problem here. Oh, he's got a slowdown penalty is what he's got. So he gives up 3 spots there after trying to challenge for the lead. Must have caught too much curbing there into the bus stop. That'll give you a slowdown of about 1.25 seconds. So it's Williams leading, Alford, Gunter, and Bonomi. And again, we're not even going to try and call the standings as they run here. It's too close to call.
Gunter gets through on Alford pretty quickly here, but Bonomi's stuck on the outside, not going to be able to get through. Alford one of those championship drivers as well, but needs a big race here and needs some help for Gunter and Bonomi to have some bad races.
Yeah, Alford needs his first win of the season, and he needs Gunter and Bonomi to finish plumb last. There goes Gunter through to the lead on Jarrell Williams. Bonomi getting the elbows out here and going for a pass likewise up to 3rd. Wang has obviously cleared the slowdown. He now is back in 5th and closing back in here on Johnny Alford.
Hamby still out front in the GT4 class.
Quite a bit now over Alex Allen.
Yes, quite a bit. Over 2.5 about 2.5 seconds, I should say.
Oh, Jarrell Williams from second clips the bus stop chicane rumble strip there and has a half spin and a save. He drops from second all the way down to about 6th or 7th.
Looks like Dan Miglin had a problem there as well. He has actually towed to the pits.
Yeah, Dan Miglin is already out of this race after towing back there. So a quick exit for him. Not a good night here at the Moto. Gunter with the lead and the purple lap.
JJ Wang trying to fight back here, has gotten back up to Johnny Alford after Hunter Engrav was pretty deep in the field just a couple laps ago. He is now challenging JJ Wang, but a huge block. Wang trying to get to the outside of Alford.
And as quickly as Gunter got the purple lap, Engrav took it from him. So Engrav slicing and dicing here after a slow, comparatively, opening lap. Alford leading this train of Wang and Engrav and Heggie. Third through 6, all on the conga line here as Kevin Minomi is trying to reel in Brody Gunter.
Corey Rutherford just got through on Nate Morris. That is for 6th in the GT4 class.
And Schlosser's gotten past Watson to move up to 3rd in the GT4 class as well. Here's Wang with a move on Alford for a podium spot.
And gonna have some help here from Hunter Engrav to get around.
Purple lap for Kevin Minomi. Closing in on the race leader. Oh, Wang with a spin.
No!
Pull it back on right in front of Joshua Rutherford there. That was close. So that will give the podium spot here back to Alford, who has Heggie and Engrav behind him.
You know, it's funny that Schlosser talked about how he wasn't sure he'd be able to get his breaking point correct in the draft in the second lap here because he hadn't been in the draft. JJ getting a push there from Engrav was probably going into turn 1 a lot faster than he had at any point so far tonight.
Certainly, if he hit his breaking point, it could have overheated the rear tires on braking there. Either way, it is not how he wanted to start this race off, that's for sure. Brody Gunter has certainly just lost his 0x bonus. He took a trip through the grass there out of the infield.
Hunter Engrav pulls to the outside of Johnny Alford, so instead of pushing JJ Wang through, JJ makes the mistake, and now Engrav is next up in line. It looks like Engrav might get a little help here from Josh Heggie.
Last lap, it was Bonomi putting the purple lap on Gunter. This time around, Gunter about 0.2 quicker than Bonomi. They were trading some laps here back and forth. Oh, Rick Thompson off in the International Horseshoe. But back on. As the leaders funneling into the West Horseshoe. Hamby leading Howland just as they are in the championship standings. Hamby, your champion-elect. We'll crown him officially at the conclusion of this race. Whether he wins or not, we'll talk to Johnny Hamby in booth 200. As a champion here for the first time on turn 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200.
Johnny Alford's still slipping backwards time-wise and in jeopardy of slipping back another position as well. Josh Hagee right on his heels.
Think Rick and Corey have a tiebreaker in place?
I'm sure they probably do. I have no idea what it would be, though. Maybe wins?
Maybe, and Gunter has that on lock. He's won 9 races this season.
I would guess it's either wins or whoever finishes ahead of the other maybe in this final race. I'm not sure. Either way, right now it would be Gunter.
That's if they're tied. We don't know. But, just in case.
There goes Hagee through on Johnny Alford. But Hagee's going to move up to 4th. Engrav in front in a podium position 3rd. And then there's Kevin Bonomi, who has started to get closer to the 01 of Brody Gunter.
He just is rocking and rolling in the Moto section. Very, very good. Bonomi a personal best sector 2 on this lap. But lost some time there tangling with lap traffic. Lost quite a bit of time there into the bus stop. So gave it all back and then some. I mean, this gap is gargantuan now.
You're right. I mean, it was to nearly a half a second. It's almost to 2 seconds now. Big mistake there for Bonomi.
Not sure who the lap car was, but he stayed out of the way and even skipped the bus stop. So that was an unforced error, to say the least. Yeah, nearly 2 seconds now for Bonomi to try and catch Gunter once again.
Further back on the back, JJ Wang trying to get back through some of the traffic from when he lost positions going around into turn 1. Just got around Jarrell Williams. That is to get to 6th. Nick Batista, James Watson closing in together again here. This time it would be for the 4th position.
Oh, and by the way, wholesome moment, because as chippy and contentious as their duel was at Charlotte at the Roval after they wrecked out, Watson and Rene Garcia were having a good old time after this race, and their photo finish for 2nd. So that's great. We heal and we move on here.
Just behind Watson and Batista, Corey Rutherford looking to make a pass on Nate Morris here. And Morris actually just got around Corey when Corey made a little mistake. And Corey had passed Nate previously, so Corey trying to get that position back again. Other than these couple of GT4 battles, really nobody else very close on the racetrack. All of the GT3 drivers, at least a 1.5 seconds or more separates most of them.
But only a 10th slower last time around than Gunter. Continuing to try and dig out of that hole. As Gunter's had to make his way through some of the GT4 traffic, Bonomi now will have to do the same here on the exit of the Moto. And that's going to cost him more time than Gunter, I would assume.
Matt Schlosser is continuing to march forward here. He got around Watson a little while ago to get to 3rd and has now reeled in Alex Howland.
I think Howland had a problem on the last lap. Schlosser definitely the fastest GT4 right now. But Howland was 2 seconds slower. So Schlosser pulling up quick here, and we'll look to move up to second by the time this lap is completed. Bonomi, little by little here, starting to eat back into this gap. It's about 7/10 quicker, actually, this last time around, so it's inside a second and a half once again. Gunter had some problems there in and out of lap traffic.
Hunter Engrav is not really that far behind either.
No, he is not.
This could potentially end up being a 3-car battle for the lead at some point here tonight.
Engrav, the only GT3 right now, going sub 138 in his lap times. Here on lap number 9 of an expected probably 24 for this feature. Under 26 minutes to go in what has been a fantastic season at number 4 here with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. It feels like it just started. I can't believe it's almost over already.
Yeah, it's 20 races, but only 10 weeks.
And only one off week this season as well. We'll take about 3 weeks off here on Wednesday nights and be back with the Daredevil Series starting July 10th with some non-points racing action. And July 17th kicks the season off proper, so just about a month from now. Ooh, Joshua Rutherford in 8th has picked up a meatball flag, and that car looks to be in a bad way as he's going to spin it out of the bus stop.
Trying to get it turned around. He would rather try and get to the pits under his own power rather than jump 2, hoping not to have to take that tow time. Bonomi continues to close in here, Tommy.
Yeah, he is. He's here.
And he is bringing Engrav along with him.
Yes. Yes, he is. Double trouble for Gunter. Kyle Zittel bet his entire net worth in our Discord channel on a Gunter win today. So I know one person that's cheering for the 0-1 here.
Matt Schlosser closing in on Alex Howland around the big oval to get to second in the GT4s here as well.
Howland's had good defense here the last couple laps to stave off the challenge from Schlosser. But the time might be about up here.
Oh, Schlosser pretty wide there. Don't think he's going to be able to make it happen. Oh, he's still side by side though. We'll have inside positioning into International.
Savvy. Nicely done. Schlosser to second.
And Brody Gunter coming down pit road early.
Gunter from the lead. Side by side right now for P5, Alford and Wang. I guess that's now for 4th, I guess, since Brody Gunter is pit.
Wow, JJ's all over the back of Alfred right now.
Big lunge, similar to what we saw there into the first turn on the first lap, and Wang will retake 4th. Rick Thompson down pit road. We'll see if Bonomi or Engrav decide to answer the call and come to pit road here. Not uncommon to see Gunter on pit road early.
Seems like it's pretty early, though.
Yeah, it seemed way earlier than we are accustomed to.
Generally, it's at least after the halfway mark. It was a good 3 or 4 minutes before the halfway mark.
Bonomi's coming.
Bonomi's going to answer the call.
Gets it wound down to pit road speed. Gap was right around a second when Gunter pulled off.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I think maybe Bonomi feels like he had the speed for Gunter, so doesn't want to get himself off of the strategy too much, just in case it ends up not working out in his favor. Would rather just try and race Gunter straight up as much as possible. And JJ Wang has had a problem again.
Oh, no.
And is trying to fight off Drell Williams after Johnny Alford has gotten back through.
Bonomi about to merge, and he'll merge right in front of Brody Gunter.
Gonna have to be careful back out on the racetrack, though.
Yes, cooled off tires here for the 75. But a decent gap.
And this is massive here for Bonomi to come out in front of Gunter. Gunter felt like the undercut was going to be the play to probably keep the lead. Didn't want Bonomi to be the one to get down pit road first, but it turns out, unless there was a big mistake by Gunter or just gave up too much time on entry or exit, turns out that Bonomi was better off being the second one in.
Lapper here. JJ Wang will pit now from fourth. Gunter is closed right up, though. Less than a car length. Massively outbroke the 75 into turn number one and applying pressure once again.
Can Bonomi use that Moto part of the layout to his advantage like he has been all night? Gunter sticking with him a little bit better here.
Much better exit there for Bonomi. Oh, and Gunter lost the front end there through the middle of the final turn there. So Bonomi opens that gap back up, about half a second now.
Here comes race leader Hunter Engrav down pit road.
I think that's who we're going to see jump to the front here. But jumping to the front right now is Josh Heggie.
Here's Bonomi and Gunter out of oval turn 4 towards start finish. Where will Engrav come out? And will Gunter be able to get in front of Bonomi? Not this time.
Bending off. Oh, Engrav, he lost some time for sure. I thought he was going to be way out in front, but he is further back than he was when Gunter initiated the green flag pit cycle here.
Yeah, he is well behind, actually.
That's surprising. Over 2.5 seconds back. So keeping our eyes on Matt Schlosser, he just turned a personal fastest lap. But still has 5 seconds to catch Johnny Hamby here. So he'll need some help. even with being 7/10 faster than the leader right now. Top three have yet to pit, and scratch that. There's Josh Heggie down pit road from the lead. We'll see if Alford or Williams answer, or if they will move to first and second. JJ Wang just had a bit of a spin. He does not lose any positions, though, as Jarrell Williams will be pitting this time as well. So Alford leading now. Bonomi in second, Gunter in third. Gunter hoping to fill up the mirrors of the 75 for the rest of the race. Or, if not, pass him. Either way, apply pressure.
Oh, he is applying it big time right here. Bonomi said he wanted to be patient, but he was talking about... Oh, wow! Looked like Bonomi got really loose there. That was just... Looked like the rear end of the car started to turn to the left as he was trying to make a left-hand turn. It looked a little awkward. Here it comes! Oh, wow!
Gunter rolls the middle of that turn very well. Bonomi tries to take his exit late. Now this has got Gunter out of sorts and Bonomi loose.
Gunter off a loose there as well. Not able to capitalize quite yet.
We'll call that even Stevens through the Moto section, but Gunter is still right here.
It almost seems inevitable at this point.
Well, don't look now, but Hunter Engrav is chewing into this gap big time. Gunter can't keep riding here in dirty air as Johnny Alford is going to pit. So this will become, once again, the battle for the lead, for the win, for the championship.
And we believe if Bonomi can finish ahead of Gunter here, that's probably it. Bonomi will have it. There's a huge block up the racetrack.
A block nearly puts Gunter into the wall. Gunter feeds a bumper to Bonomi through lap traffic. Some space.
Oh, it is on here.
15 minutes of white-knuckle driving. Brought to you by the American Sim Racing League. Celebrating 25 years of racing like this. Engrav is mightily caught up in the traffic behind the two leaders here. He has lost a ton of time. So Bonomi for now with some breathing room. As Johnny Hamby now going to kick things off here for the pit stops for the GT4's Alex Howland also down pit road. So that moves Matt Schlosser out front. Schlosser is still cutting into the gap in a big way here on Johnny Hamby. So there may be something to be had here for a battle for the win in the final few minutes here if things continue the way they are. But we know we've got one here for the GT3s. Gunter again closing in. Half car length by half car length. May not be close enough to do anything here into turn number one. But closes the gap. Joshua Rutherford going to have to make a pass-through penalty here. He's having a rough race. Sounds like he's missing quite a bit of body work on the 64 car. Hello, Heath Smith.
And I concur. Good racing tonight. Your pal Johnny Hamby has wrapped up a championship in the GT4 class. There's contact between Gunter and Bonomi. Those are the championship contenders in the GT3 class.
Well, no 0x bonus for anybody. That's that same corner there, the West Horseshoe. Gunter has such a big burst of speed through the middle. Bonomi lags through the middle to try and get the drive off, and they just keep putting a round peg in a square hole there. Oh, but Gunter got a good run there out of the bus stop. He might have a go once again into one. A lot of time to think here on offense and on defense, what you're going to do into one. Here's Gunter out to the right. They touch.
Wow.
They touch again. Gunter going to hang on the outside. Can he keep himself there?
Whoa.
Boy.
He'll still have the advantage.
That runs the 75 wide. Bonomi back to second, and Gunter back to the point, and he hits the headlights.
Wow, what a battle. And with that battle, Engrav has caught up to both of them here.
Yeah, that elbows out style of driving can go both ways, and it has. Gunter's cars looked a bit nervous here through this section of corners. And he's off in the grass there. Not the first time he's been out wide. Bonomi
Gunter
closing a little bit here into the bus stop. Can he back it up and get another run through the tri-oval?
Gunter, more often than not, has been better than Bonomi out of the bus stop, getting the big run into the oval turn 3. Paid dividends for Gunter last time to play offense, but Bonomi catching up with the draft here.
And so is Engrav. Gunter says, I want the outside. He takes it.
Oh, contact!
Nearly makes it 3 wide. As that was
Gunter
a big
way
shot.
Out wide.
Yeah, that screwed him all up. Bonomi back to the lead, not without attrition, as Engrav mixing it up now.
Gunter overcooks a little bit. Engrav trying to go for the outside in. Not quite able to produce the run. Corey Rutherford just made another pass on Nate Morris. Those two have swapped positions like 3 times now. Good battle between them.
Matt Schlosser, by the way, under 3 seconds up to Johnny Hamby now. So we will have a battle here inside of 10 minutes to go for the GT4 lead before too much longer. But Bonomi, with enough space behind him to drive the corners like he wants to drive them, able to gap Gunter once again through the horseshoe. A lot of his trip-ups there were the fact that Gunter was blowing through the middle of the corners, and Bonomi was taking it easy.
Well, Bonomi said that his key to running quick is being patient, but with Brody Gunter right up your tail, you can't really be all that patient.
I have not seen any patience in the last 5 minutes, I don't think. It's been very much take, which, you know, you would expect not only for a race win, but for a championship. Here is Engrav.
Oh, here goes
now.
Engrav. Wow, that was a huge dive to the middle.
Gunter closes on Bonomi. Engrav has to roll out of it. And the top 3 are nose to tail once again. Gunter's got it figured out into one.
And again, we believe if Bonomi can stay in front here, he will win the championship. If Gunter gets in front, that we have no idea. A possible tie.
We're going to wait for official word from Corey Rutherford, because he will have the calculator ready. Again, we're uncertain about bonuses. My incident ticker is not working. Certainly We don't think there's any bonus points coming out of this one because Gunter and Bonomi have made contact on multiple occasions here. A couple of hard shots at that. We've seen Gunter push off the track a few times. And the track limits are kind of ungenerous through the bus stop as well. So who's to say? Long story short. But Bonomi being in front of Gunter certainly is going to help his case. And could very well be the nail in the coffin for a third consecutive title for Brody Gunter. Here's Engrav again to the outside.
Outside again. Both of them closing on Bonomi.
And this time, Engrav hanging around. This will set him up nicely for the International Horseshoe. Oh, and Engrav overcooks it big time there and nearly sails it off into Bonomi. I don't know how he kept it out of Gunter. Brody survives another one.
They have made minimal contact, but Gunter able to stay out in front of Engrav here.
Well, they kept it out of the scrapyard. That's where I thought it was going. Schlosser and Hamby separated by 2 seconds. So Matt Schlosser closing in big time here on Hamby, who didn't win a race last week. Wouldn't want to make it 2 in a row to win the championship, weeks without a race victory. Gunter lagging back nearly a second now. And something tells me Engrav isn't going to push Gunter up to the battle for the lead. Just a guess, though. Engrav going to go for it.
Going to go for it again here.
Gunter outbreaks, runs him wide, big contact. Oh, they're toast. Gunter tried to run him a little wide and play defense there, but Gunter certainly has cost himself a shot without a slip up here from Bonomi.
Well, that seemed like it was bound to happen. I mean, this has been incredibly hard racing. Heath Smith points out in the chat for the better part of 6 or 7 laps at this point.
Gunter still hanging on to second. And if Gunter's to have any shot, he needs this second place. Yeah, that's something we can speculate on with some level of confidence. Every position's going to help in a championship battle. Did you know that, man?
Yeah, I think I've heard that a time or two.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they were just outside of a second behind Kevin Bonomi into turn number 1. Now they are 4.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, Bonomi,
we've got a couple. Go ahead.
Bonomi is well out in front. It's going to take a pretty big mistake from him for Gunter to have a shot at catching.
There is some lap traffic ahead that they'll be catching in the next couple laps. Engrav is going to have another go here on Brody Gunter for second, I'm sure, into turn number 1. Here comes that move now. A couple other battles developing. J.J. Wang and Johnny Alford for 5th. Nate Morris and Corey Rutherford are still battling here for position for the GT4s for 6th. And Matt Schlosser, 1.3 seconds behind Johnny Hamby. 3 minutes to go. As Engrav takes second now. Alford into turn number 1, hanging on to the 5th spot on J.J. Wang. They were side by side. That is the only other battle right now in the GT3 class.
Schlosser is catching Hamby still, only about 5 or 6 car lengths behind at this point.
Well, the battle between J.J. Wang and Johnny Alford, they're close on the track, but it is now over because J.J. Wang has eclipsed the drive-through limit. So we'll have to serve a drive-through penalty. Still battling for second in the GT3s and battling now for the lead in the GT4s. Schlosser on a tear. When he got to second, he was almost 6 seconds behind Johnny Hamby in the lead.
And he hasn't run faster every lap. Hamby has still put out some really good laps here, but overall, Schlosser has been much quicker.
The laps that he's gone faster than Hamby, he's gone way faster. Last time by, he was 7/10 quicker.
It's almost like he runs a lap really, really hard and then kind of tries to cool the tires off for a lap and then runs another really hard one.
Whatever he did, it worked. He's here. And Wang down pit road to serve his penalty. I think he'll only lose one position if he even loses that. He's got 25 seconds back to Jarrell Williams. And Gravin Gunter, half a second. As Schlosser into turn number 1, closes the gap. He's going to at least take a look here to the inside, and Hamby leaves the door open. Schlosser might sneak through.
It looked like a bit of a... Oh! Wow, both of them take a lot of curbing there. Schlosser is clear, though. Looked like Hamby made a bit of a mistake there on the outside.
Brody Gunter pass-through penalty.
Wow.
Here, coming to the checkered flag, potentially. It's going to be within a couple seconds here, whether we're coming to the white or the checkered. But no doubt, it is Kevin Bonomi on his own island here. Out front.
It's the checkers, Tommy.
It's the checkers. Kevin Bonomi is going to take the sweep here at Daytona. And Gunter does not get to serve the penalty. Where is that going to put him in the finishing order?
And it looked like there may have been another incident between Engrav and Gunter, potentially. I don't know. I have a marker here. I don't know if that was the initial incident or if that was the second one.
He picked up the penalty coming out of the infield. They had a lot of lap traffic around them. This could have very easily been some GT4 traffic colliding with him or sending him off track to tip the scale there. Regardless, here we go for another sweep. Matt Schlosser from downtown takes another one here at Daytona. Wild, wild stuff here. And we're going to wait for official word here, not only for where Gunter is going to end up finishing, but also the championship standings at the end of it. Kevin Bonomi, though, did exactly what he needed to do tonight, taking the sweep in a night where he was favored. Okay, Corey Rutherford just saying that they are working already on the final point standings. So work is underway there.
Typically, when you get a pass-through and you don't get to clear it, I believe you go to the last car in the lead lap.
So Gunter has been moved from 3rd to 5th, so it must have been some kind of time penalty. He has lost 2 positions.
And
in
my
mind,
mind,
2 other drivers.
In my mind, that pretty much wraps it.
Well, we'll wait. We'll wait just to be sure, because we've been wrong before. But, what a killer penalty on the final lap there. Why don't we take a look at whatever the SDK logged there on the final lap?
Yeah, let's take a look at this. This may have actually been that initial incident, but let's go ahead and take a look back at this one anyways. That's Bonomi well up there in front. Engrav on the outside. Gunter here on the inside. And it looks like Engrav gave Gunter quite a bit of room there. I mean, this is just what's going to happen when you're racing this hard. Mistakes are going to be made, and with minimal room to make an error, that stuff is just going to happen. And I actually don't have anything on the last lap, so not quite sure what happened there towards the end.
Well, Kevin Bonomi, if for nothing else, was doing some burnouts to celebrate the sweep of Daytona tonight. Yeah, I'll go back manually and see if I could find what happened to Gunter here on the final lap.
Well, do we want to do some GT4 interviews since we know what happened with the championship there?
Certainly, we can get the full finishing rundown here for the GT4s in just a second. I did just find what happened to Gunter here. I'm going to watch it quickly by myself, I guess. Yeah, it just looked like he dipped 2 tires off coming out.
It just got a 1X, and that was enough.
And that was enough, yeah. Interesting. So that is what takes Gunter at least out of contention for a podium here. Moves him from 3rd to 5th with the penalty on the final lap. Okay, so full finishing rundown then. It's for the GT3s. It's Bonomi with the sweep tonight. Engrav in second. We'll talk to both of these two as they go 1-2 in both races. Josh Heggie then will pick up 3rd. Johnny Alford in 4th. And Bertie Gunter slips back to 5th with the penalty. J.J. Wang in 6th. Jarrell Williams in 7th. Rick Thompson and Joshua Rutherford 8th and 9th. Casey Campbell does turn 1 lap, but will finish 10th in class. And Nate Siefker and Steve Roman disconnected after the dash races. It is Matt Schlosser with a huge win. Come from behind victory for him. Johnny Alford will finish in 2nd. Then it's Alex Howland in 3rd. James Watson then in 4th. Nick Batista 5th. Corey Rutherford in 6th. Nate Morris, Kenny Stepp, and Rene Garcia. And Dan Meglin with the early exit. Going to finish last in class. So we will go looking for your GT4 champion and your runner-up finisher. We'll bring Johnny Hamby right into booth 200 as a second-place finisher here in the feature race, but also as the GT4 champion. Congratulations on a fantastic season and a good run here tonight as well.
Hey, appreciate that. Yeah, I kind of got thrown into the front tonight after a stupid wreck at the start of the heat race. But yeah, last 2 or 3 weeks, a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of bad driving. I was fast in the rain, man, but I was just behind the 8 ball the whole time. But appreciate it. Yes, I'm proud to lead the GT4s for the season. It's a lot of fast guys that were in and out that probably would have made a lot more noise, like Hunter moving over to GT3s. Schlosser clearly very fast. Jumping over here later in the season, but yeah, I just felt like I had a solid season overall, and glad to have it.
Certainly, yes. Yeah, I concur definitely that you've had some bad luck here the last couple of weeks, but you built yourself plenty of a cushion, that's for sure, and that's the nice thing about having 20 races in 10 weeks. If you have momentum week to week, you can really string together a solid season, and your season was more than solid. I mean, what are some of your highlights? You won plenty of races this season, but any of them stick out in particular?
Usually I remember the bad stuff. I was an idiot the whole night. You know what I mean? Like I remember the wins and I'm proud of them, but usually I'm kicking myself. And tonight, Daniel took off Daniel when I spun. I felt terrible. I remember that crap before I remember wins sometimes. But you know what? To string together a lot of solid finishes especially those first half of the season, and starting to get a few wins through the middle of the season. Yeah, proud of that for sure. Just I think week to week it was a good setup of tracks. Some little bit of different tracks like tonight. A lot of fun to run this. Took me about 3 laps not to want to take that regular Daytona infield there instead of the Moto, but I think it was a good lineup of tracks overall that took a lot of skill to get around all of them. I'm proud of it.
Your driver coach is in the chat saying you did a great job tonight. It's Heath Smith.
Appreciate it, Heath.
Matt, what do you got?
Congrats on great races throughout the season. Congrats on the championship here. I don't know how this is going to shake out, but you and James are on the verge of a team championship as well. Of course, James was not here tonight, and I think has missed a couple of races throughout the season. But both of you coming in here together, I know that the team championship was kind of a big thing that you guys wanted to go for. I mean, how does it feel to, if you don't win it, at least be right up there at the front? Because for the both of you to do that on your first season here, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And James knew he was going to miss some races here at the end. He's in the military, thank for his service, and he's got a lot going on with that. So he knew he would have some issues through part of the season, and we were trying to build up some points for that towards the end. And maybe it works out. Both of us had some pretty solid results early on to help out, so we'll see. Hey, yes, we did. We absolutely. I think if he'd been here all year, I think we could have definitely had it. But even if we don't, we had a good time doing it.
Having a good time. That's the important thing here. The race wins help too, but and a championship as well. You're a champion here on Turn 200 now. Can't ever take that away from you. You had a fantastic season here on your first go around with ASRL. Congratulations to you. Let's get some shout outs going for you.
Hey, you know what? Just thanks to Corey and the guys for putting this on. I have a little bit of knowledge as to what it takes to put together something like this, and it's a lot of time and effort. And he did a really good job with it. So I really appreciate them doing that, and always, man, appreciate you guys. Love watching the broadcast back. Y'all do a great job. Thank you.
Well, go celebrate a championship and a successful closing of the season. We'll talk to you again here, hopefully tomorrow in New Hampshire.
I hope so. We'll see.
All righty, partner. Have
Thanks,
a good
guys.
one.
See you.
And we'll bring the broom up here. Matt Schlosser with a sweep. How about that?
Yeah. Awesome. I'm super pumped about that. It was a really fun race, and feels good to get the sweep to close out the season.
I mean, where did you come from? I swear when you took second away from Alex Allen there, you were more than 6 seconds behind Johnny Hamby.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like picking away at it bit by bit on the lead. I think my biggest strength was the bus stop. I was able to get a really good run out of there, and I was able to gain a couple of tenths a lap, and it just kind of whittled down to about a second at the end, and then I was in the draft, and it was really fun racing him on the last lap. Awesome racing with him, and congrats to him on the championship. He deserves it. He's really good, and shout out to him. But yeah, it was a fun race, and obviously a really exciting ending. I'm happy to get the win again for sure.
So, well, I guess let's let Matt go first, and maybe he'll take my question from me.
Well, I mean, the speed, first of all, congrats on the sweep, but the speed is undoubtable, undeniable at this point. Are we going to get to see a Matt Schlosser championship run where you stay with one class maybe next time?
That was my question.
Yeah, I love these GT4 cars. I mean, I fully intend to run the full season in the GT4s in the fall season. I really enjoy these cars. The GT3s, I don't know, something about the way I drive them just doesn't work. And, I felt like I was kind of hitting a ceiling on my speed there. But these cars, you can kind of hustle them and slide them around, and they don't have as much grip or downforce. So you can kind of get a little bit of like your stock car road racing instincts going, and it feels good to drive them. So I'll be back. I'm going to do my best to challenge Johnny for the championship if he's back again. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
And maybe get Zach or Dan to swap to a GT3, or get Zach to join, or get somebody in-house here to partner up and maybe go for a team championship as well for Interstellar.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Definitely try to get one of those guys on the team and go for that.
All righty, partner. Let's get some shout outs for you again here tonight with the sweep.
Cool. Let's see. Maybe I'll shout out to my equipment. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Shout out to Logitech, Moto. Let's see. I forget who makes my PC. It's like a Frankenstein PC with all these parts missing and hanging off of it. But Samsung monitors. I don't know, whatever else stuff. Like Microsoft Windows, Xfinity Internet, whatever else makes it happen. Shout out to my air conditioning because it's like 100 degrees here, and without that, I would have melted and definitely not won the race. So, shout out to that. But yeah, shout out to you guys again, Turn 200, and everybody in the league. It's been fun racing everybody all season long. And yeah, that's all I got.
All righty, partner. Go celebrate another win here, third of your career here with ASRL, and we'll talk to you again here soon.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
All righty. Well, we're going to interview your podium finishers here. We'll start with your second place finisher, Hunter Engrav. And we're going to cut his stream off and bring him up into booth 200 for the first time here tonight. But 2 second place finishes here, not a bad go around at Daytona Moto. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it doesn't feel as good.
You got bounced there on the last lap of the dash, and then it feels like it took you a couple laps to get going in the feature race as well. And by the time you did, the two drivers that you were hanging around with all night were up front and pretty well stuck in place there.
Yeah, I was just taking the time and everything, and then I just kind of sorry. I hear Corey in my ears, but no, it was. I was just trying to take my time. Tires were cold. The Mercedes, you only have like 2 good laps, and the tires just keep spinning, and it didn't feel good. But I had to pit for tires because my tires were already down to like 70%, and then I had to kind of catch back up. I did, and then I accidentally missed my braking point a little bit on Brody. I pushed sorry on the cap thing. I wanted to give him back the spot because I don't want to race like that. That doesn't feel right at all, and must have did the same mistake maybe as I did, where just try to outbrake because you didn't want to give up the spot and everything. But no, I wish I didn't do the mistake to mess up Brody and everything. And yeah, it doesn't feel as good to be P2.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, still congrats on a great night here. Just talk to me about regardless of the contact, I mean, the battle that you, Kevin, and Brody had going on there was absolutely epic here for the broadcast and everybody watching. I mean, it seemed like a lot of fun out there, but you guys were really pushing each other hard.
Yeah, it was very fun. I want to be careful because them two are battling for championship, but also I knew I had the straight line speed, which I was trying to get to the lead and everything, and it didn't work. But no, we were pushing each other very good. I know the Porsche had a lot better on the long run, and they were a lot better in the infield, and the Merc was faster on the straightaways. So it was good and fun battling. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Need to take a shower now after this race though.
I bet. A successful season for you. You switched classes mid-season, so we didn't get you with a points battle, but you had the most wins this season, I do believe, across the 2 classes. So congrats on a successful second season here with ASRL. Shout-outs for you.
My mom, my dad, for always watching these. You guys for always doing a phenomenal job of broadcasting. All the ASRL admins for always doing a phenomenal job at making ASRL an amazing league. And my teammate, Kevin Bonomi, for a very good season. I don't know if he won the championship. I didn't hear Corey, but congratulate him, and good job battling with Brody and Joshua all year. It's been very fun.
All righty, partner. We'll talk to you again here soon.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
And we will now tell you that Hunter was correct. Kevin Bonomi is your champion for the GT3s this season. And fantastic stuff here tonight. Taking the sweep to take the title. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my God. This is thrilling.
I mean, as thrilling as it is for you now that the race is concluded, I mean, that was some incredible racing on the track there as well. You and Gunter were throwing elbows there, to say the least, with a lot of the line.
Oh yeah, it was. He was rubbing me. I was getting scared because it was like pulling my car, especially in turn 1 with the heavy braking. But then luckily I was able to defend, and I don't know what happened behind me. Something happened with Hunter and him into turn 1 and allowed me to run away.
You did exactly what you needed to do, picking your way up through pretty quickly. You and Brody both navigated the traffic there on the first lap. When they were all going 3 wide in front of you there, you still found a way to make positions in the first few turns and got yourself straight away back to the front of the field.
Yep, remember what I told you? Patience.
It didn't look very patient to me at multiple points here during that race, but whatever works.
Yep.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, huge congratulations here on the championship, and a great night here tonight. I mean, you did exactly what you had to do to wrap it up, so just an unbelievable job. Brody came in and undercut you on pit strategy there, and Tommy and I were a bit surprised that you actually came out in front after it was all said and done. Were you surprised by that as well?
I was really surprised. I was like, how am I 1.3 seconds ahead of him? So, I mean, it worked out.
Yeah, it certainly did work out in multiple ways here. You take the sweep, 2 wins here tonight. You take the championship. You stop the Brody Gunter three-peat from happening here in ASRL. Fantastic stuff all season long. A bit quiet to open things up, but man, in the back half of the season, you were up front all the time, lights out, and that is what it takes to win the title, and you've done that here. So congratulations to you. The soapbox is yours. Who do you want to shout out? Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to say hi to?
I want to dedicate this championship to my family, my brothers, my amazing teammate. That this is the 2nd year I'm doing league racing, and I already won a championship, and I have to say it's because of his mentorship. And my good friend Logan, who is still watching. I just got a text from him. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, what a ride.
Well, back on top, the name Bonomi as a champion now in the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Go celebrate, partner. Go tear up the town. We'll talk to you again here very soon.
All right, thanks.
12 points is the margin of victory there. So even without the penalty, Bonomi would have been in good shape to take that one. By the way, 15x for Brody Gunter, 13x for Engraf. So he almost got disqualified as well. Very close. That, of course, would not have played into anything for the championship, but it nearly gave Heggie and Alford a bit of a boost there as well in the closing lap. Yeah, so Daytona Moto is good. This is the 2nd good race we've had here in as many attempts. I guess technically 3rd because the dash race is also a separate race. So, yeah, 3 for 3 here at the Moto. And champions crowned. 2 first-time champions with ASRL in Hamby in his first try and Bonomi in his second. Fantastic stuff here tonight and all season.
Yeah, this was the way to cap off a championship or a season overall for everybody here. I mean, just an unbelievable race. Just amazing stuff. Also have to give a shout out to, we did get confirmation on the team champions as well. It is not going to be the Maximum Velocity Racing crew with James and Johnny. It is going to be ESGI Motorsports. That is Josh Heggie and Nick Batista. And actually, JK Racing ends up finishing 2nd here. So shout out to ESGI, the team champions as well. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that GT3 championship battle we just had tonight.
No, it certainly doesn't. And we look ahead to, as Kyle Zettel in our Discord just found out, he lost all his money. We'll look ahead to season number 5 for the ASRL Sports Car Championship 2024 Season 2. That starts, I believe, October 9th. And will similarly be another 10-round schedule. And another pretty exciting one. I don't think we saved any slots for champions picks. I think the entire schedule has been selected already. and I don't think it's any hidden secret, so we could just run through it now. We'll kick things off October 9th at Road Atlanta, the full circuit. Phillip Island, which has produced the closest finish in Turn 200 history, is up second. VIR full, third week. Sebring full, fourth week. Fuji full, fifth week. Then our pick, or my pick, I guess, because Matt got to pick Indy Bike this season. I picked Le Mans without the chicanes. So the big, long straightaways uninterrupted for Le Mans on week number 6. Spa-Francorchamps is up in week number 7, courtesy of Black Ice Racing. Week 8, Matt Schlosser picked the Phoenix Infield Road Course.
Oh, my.
And then we follow that up with the Chicago Street Course. And then week number 10, the championship next week is going to be at Misano Circuit Marco Simoncelli. So Misano will make its debut, I believe, at that point. I can't remember if it's on PMR this season or not. But regardless, that is the week before Christmas. So October 9th to December 18th, season number 5. Will be an exciting one. We've got the Daredevil series between now and then. We're going to take about 3 weeks off and then come back with Daredevil Season 5. Hard to believe there's 5 seasons of the Daredevil series already, but here we are. Matt, what do you want to say to wrap up the championship this season as a whole here for ASRL?
I mean, it's been awesome, man. It really has. The sports car championship has become a favorite of ours here on Wednesday nights, rivaling the Daredevil series. I mean, the drivers just do an unbelievable job. Shout out to Corey and Rick for putting on a fantastic series. The layout, the format that they do, it provides really awesome racing. It's just been incredible. So just shout out to all the champions and everybody else that ran well here this season. Hoping to have everybody back, plus maybe some more. Maybe we'll get that Turn 200 effect going and get some more folks from some of our other series here on Wednesdays as well. That would be awesome. But yeah, incredible stuff from everybody.
Yeah, you know what? We got nowhere else to be right now. Why don't we welcome up our team champions here? We'll bring up Josh Heggie and we'll bring up Nick Batista. Hello, gentlemen. Congratulations on the title.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Well, tonight was interesting for both of you. Nick, you had some interesting battles. Josh, you also had a couple of go-arounds there. Some pretty interesting stuff all around tonight and this season for both of you. I guess we'll go with Nick first.
Okay.
Hey, respect your elders.
Yeah, it was some ups and downs. I missed 2 races, and when we started the season, the biggest thing, I mean, after finishing second last season, there was not going to be another second place finish this season. So we did everything that we could to try and stay up there in contention. It wasn't easy, but oh gosh.
Yeah, we actually didn't know that we might have a shot until we started doing all the what if scenarios, and we're like, well, if his teammate doesn't show up, and started doing the math and thought we might be able to get it. So I just kept it clean all race and try to get those bonus points for us.
You had an outside chance to pick up the overall championship tonight as well. So, I mean, there were a couple reasons for you to push hard here tonight. But fourth in the dash and third in the feature, I mean, pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, but those bonus points caught me off guard. It took me 4 or 5 weeks I read the rules to begin, but I didn't know how big of a factor they would play going in. So I missed out on a lot of those, and it's easy to, go the negative route and think of stuff like that, or sometimes you gotta try to miss somebody and go off on the grass, and then there goes your points. But I did avoid a lot and got a couple championships. So, and I might have to stick with Nick next time too.
I'd say it's the winning combo for this season.
Shows up most of the time, so that's a big part of it.
Yeah, certainly. Anybody you guys want to shout out here?
Nick.
So, Eminent Signs and Graphics, Renee, Alex, Jarrell, 420 Motorsports, my teammate Josh. just like I was overjoyed in Mount Panorama, I'm super ecstatic for winning the championship finally.
Yeah, pretty much same for me. And then Corey and Rick for setting all this stuff up. I'm already looking forward to next time or however long this lasts. And you guys was it Nolan and Josh? He came in like halfway through this season or something like that. But yeah, thank you guys for making it a lot of fun.
And the broadcast is awesome.
Well, thank you, partner. And a broadcast would be nothing without great drivers, and you're two that we enjoy watching. So keep at it, and we'll be talking to you again here soon. But that's Josh Heggie and the pro Nick Batista, your team champions for season 4. Go celebrate.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch.
Alrighty, Matt Williamson. Let's close up shop now. Who was hanging out with us here tonight?
Had great folks hanging out with us. Renee hopping in the chat here at the end. I
didn't even say I remembered the pro on my own. I just want to point that out. I didn't even see the chat.
for the teammates. So shout out to Renee. Great stuff from Renee this season as well. Heath Smith, thanks for hanging out. Hamby got the championship there in the GT4s. That's awesome to see. Thanks to Adam cheering on Kevin Bonomi. Don Golden always here to cheer on the Rutherfords as well. Goodleaf, I mean, do we even need to say it at this point here every single stream? So shout out to Goodleaf. Nate was here, unfortunately had some issues health wise, still ailments there for him, but still hopefully recovering well. So shout out to Nate for trying to do the best he could here tonight. And then Joshua Rutherford was here earlier tonight as well. Thank you guys for tuning in and tuning in throughout this entire season. Hope that you enjoyed it. And you can still join us on Wednesday nights coming up.
Absolutely, but first, tomorrow night, the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series is at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Then Sunday, we'll be at Algarve for the Mission R Challenge Top Split Strength of Field broadcast. We'll also be showing, for the first time, last week's Sunday Top Split on Sunday morning. That'll be a separate premiere video sometime in the morning on Sunday. Then Tuesday, it'll be the Venom Truck Series from Rockingham. And I already don't remember the race name because it's ridiculous. But we'll be at the Rock on Tuesday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We got about 3 weeks off here on Wednesdays until the Daredevil Series comes back with the Daredevil Series Night of Memes on July 10th. We'll open up the season proper on July 17th at Auto Club. But that'll be the next 2 times you can catch us here on a Wednesday night on Turn 200. And again, ASRL Sports Car Championship Season number 5 is back on October 9th. And that will be the next time you'll see ASRL here on Turn 200. Thank you to everybody that makes this possible here on Turn 200. Thank you to Eminent Signs and Graphics. Thank you to CJR Graphics. Thank you to Mullet Music Productions. On our side of things, thank you to Whiplash Sim Cams. Didn't use them tonight, but they will be we'll be using Whiplash Sim Cams for every Tuesday and Thursday broadcast for the rest of those respective seasons and for the rest of the Daredevil series as well. So thank you to Whiplash Sim Cams for everything they do for Turn 200. Thank you as well to Echo Blade and Pocket FM. Links to those are in the description of this video if you want to support those that support us here on Turn 200. And thank you as always to the American Sim Racing League. They are doing fantastic stuff. Now that both of their seasons, the Oval and the Road Course Series, are on hiatus, you can come join the community and come sign up to be a part of 2 great series on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights for their upcoming fall seasons. But that is all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody that comes and hangs out with us. Thank you to everybody that subscribed over season number 4. And we can't wait to do it all again in October. But until we meet again here, for everybody with the ASRL Sports Car Championship and for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook, saying so long from Daytona International Speedway, where Matt Schlosser takes the sweep and Kevin Bonomi takes the sweep and a championship, and Johnny Hamby is your GT4 champion as well. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.